Good afternoon, everyone. How you doing? I'm James Calder, the Army Reserve Family Programs Training Manager, and I would like to thank you all for joining us again for another Army Reserve Family Program Shop Talk. If you know, as of late, we've been dealing a lot with spouse employment, the situation with the economy. A lot of family members are either underemployed or unemployed. So we have been bringing you different agencies and services to assist with employment. That being the going theme these days, I want to introduce you all to Miss Meredith Lazar, who works with the Hiring Our Heroes, which is a subsection of the Director Chamber of Commerce. She's going to talk to you about several programs she has and look at the website as far as how you can apply for some of their services and all that good stuff. It's just an all around great presentation. Those individuals that'll join us a little bit later, we'll be playing catch up with the video. But without any further ado, on behalf of Mr. Mufu Taiwo, the Acting Director of Army Reserve Family Programs, and Mr. John McCarthy, the Senior Spouse for Army Reserve, I'd like to introduce to you Miss Meredith Lazar. Miss Meredith, take it away.
Thank you so much for that, James. And it's great to be with all of you here today. Thank you for joining us. I am excited to chat with you and certainly welcome your questions at any point during the presentation. If you can use the raise your hand function, what I'll do is do my best to take a look for that to be open, or just feel free to type your question in the chat and I'll try to check that periodically throughout the conversation. And I promise not to take this whole time. And the reason I promise that is because I do want you to ask questions. And if I take up all the space, then you won't have the opportunity to ask your questions. So, that being said, as James mentioned, economic opportunity for military spouses and service members, as well as veterans. So, for anyone who on the line is really looking at that transition here very soon into the veteran community, or as we say in the Marine Corps, first civ div, then we have resources for you too. And I think on that note, let me just introduce myself and my background. Obviously, you know my name. I am the Senior Director of Strategic Engagement for Hiring Our Heroes, which essentially means I'm responsible for the strategy across our programs and how we engage with that strategy and with our community throughout the year. We do many, many strategic events, and we also host many strategic conversations, and my team oversees that footprint. I'm also an active duty Marine Corps spouse. I'm currently coming to you from Alexandria, Virginia, where we are wrapping up a Pentagon tour just before PCSing to Camp Pendleton, California this June. This is our 13th PCS move. So, for many of you on the line, I'm sure you can relate. And we are also moving military kids in this lifestyle. So, are really living the dream, as most of us say. Without further ado, I do want to get into a couple of materials with you. My job today is really just to provide an overview of what Hiring Our Heroes has to offer to our community. Everything that I cover today is something that you will qualify for. And I think it's really important to point that out in this audience, because I know sometimes our Reserve and National Guard community doesn't always qualify for a program here or there. And I want you to know that today these offerings are available to you. So rest assured that they are something that you can take advantage of. And I know that there's one program that folks may have a specific question on. So I'm even going to point to the DoD website link that you can use to ensure your eligibility, and we'll show you where Reserve and National Guard do qualify. So without further ado, I will share my screen and we'll get started. Okay, so right now you see a website, and I'm actually going to navigate away from that if I can to one of our flyers. If I can get my screen to allow me, hang on one second. Let me try one more thing. Okay, there we go. All right, let's clean it up a little bit. I don't things going on. You have a few different windows. All right. So when I think about hiring our heroes, I think about a myriad of opportunities for military spouses and service members. And one of our most popular opportunities is our fellows program. So what I have here is a flyer that will show you all of the different options that are rolled within this fellows program that we offer. So you might be asking, okay, what's a fellows program and why is it so popular? Well, the fellows program is a 12-week internship program for transitioning service members and also for military spouses and veterans. And the reason that this is so wildly successful is because it links you up with one of over 300 employers that provide an internship opportunity for you during this time frame when you are getting ready to transition out of the military, or if you're a military spouse, you have two options, either as a veteran spouse or as an active duty spouse, including Reserve and National Guard. So what you see here is what we call an at a glance. And I know James also included this in the email that went out in today's invitation. So you do have this information, and I'd love for you to reference it post conversation, just as it's helpful for you. So our fellows programs are a paid internship opportunity with a 90% placement rate. So on the other side of this internship, the majority of our fellows are being permanently placed either with the company that they interned with or another company that they had an opportunity to network with or liaison with during their fellowship. And these fellowships fall into multiple categories, and there's a couple that I really want to highlight today. Career Forward is our fellowship that is Google's program, and it certifies people in what you can see here, which are IT, UX, IX, data analysis, and project management. And what you do is proceed through Grow with Google's educational opportunities in one of those certificates. You achieve that certificate with support from Hiring Our Heroes the entire time, and it can be done at your own pace. So when I think about achieving a certificate as a full-time working military spouse who's also raising children and is mostly mom and dad a lot of the time, I think that that sounds really hard for me to be able to do something like that. I can tell you this is not. It's truly up to you. You can do this at night. You can do this on weekends. You are moving through modules in a cohort environment. So there will be others who are going through the same exact educational space as you are, moving through these certificates. And we provide wraparound support the entire time. So if you have a question, if you're struggling with a topic, if there's a specific chapter where you would like additional support, our team is there the entire time to help you through those things. And so this is a wonderful opportunity for those who maybe want to upskill or reskill into a different job than they have had previously. Or maybe they're looking for a promotion in a current role and they need a skill set to achieve that promotion. This is a great opportunity for that. It's absolutely free. And at the end, after you've achieved that certificate, then you will move into a 12-week paid internship opportunity that will really use that skill set that you just achieved through that education. These are fantastic because they are majority remote work roles. So for those of us who are military spouses who feel like maybe we still need that flexibility to move from duty station to duty station, this is a really great fit. And also for service members who might be thinking, well, right now, but it's possible that in the future I may be in Arizona, this could be a wonderful fit for you too. So Career Forward is a wonderful opportunity. The Military Spouse and Caregiver Fellowships, this is something I really want to highlight, and I want to look at the category that says paid, and I want you to go all the way over to where it says Military Spouse and Caregiver Fellowships, and you'll see what's called the Military Spouse Career Accelerator Pilot. This is the pilot program that DoD launched last year. So MSCAP, as it is called, is now in its second year, and it is available not only for active duty spouses, also for Reserve and National Guard. And I really want to highlight that. And I think there is often confusion around whether military spouses of Reserve and National Guard do qualify for it. And I'm really happy to say that if you have any questions on that, You can go to the Spouse Education and Career Opportunities website, and there is a section called About MSCAP, and then it says who is eligible. And right there in that eligibility section, it says to include Reserve and National Guard components. So this is really exciting. Oftentimes, as we said earlier, people are left out of various opportunities. This is not one of those. You absolutely qualify. It has an 86% placement rate, which is awesome. And we are so thrilled to be able to share that. And it also has a starting salary of about $65,000 for these positions. And some of you might say, well, that's a little less than I am currently looking to make, or you might say it's a little more. So that's wonderful news. Let me talk to you a little bit about that. This requires military spouses to have an associate's degree. You don't have to have a 4-year education to participate in this program. And that is so exciting because it means that for many of our spouses who might feel left out of an internship opportunity, you are not. You are included in this one. So take a moment to learn more about the Military Spouse and Caregiver Fellowships and see if that would be something that you are interested in, because it really is a viable option to securing employment. And for a moment, I'm going to stop the share just to see if there are any questions in the chat. So bear with me. All right. Doesn't look like anything so far, which is just fine. So we'll go back to sharing our screen. Just want to make sure I get all the questions taken care of here for us. And we'll go back to our fellows program flyer. And then I'm going to move on to some of our other programs. Again,
And
promised you. Yeah, go ahead,
yes,
James.
Meredith, I'll monitor the chat also
Oh,
while you're working. That
thank
way
you.
you ain't got to look. I'll monitor as well as I'll monitor the hand raising and stuff like that. So if someone raises their hand or if something is put into the chat, I'll be sure to let you know. That way you don't have to worry about doing that too. I
Oh,
got you.
great.
I
Thank
got
you.
you.
I should have guessed you had my back. Thank you for that. So that's our Military Spouse and Caregiver Fellowship. And you can read more about that here on this flyer. That's why you have this very informational piece and wanted to make sure it was included. These last two fellowships are programs I really want to foot stomp because they also are really fantastic for those who are looking to upskill or reskill into different opportunities. The Salesforce Fellowship is the first one. This is also open to military spouses, transitioning service members, veterans. It is a remote fellowship program. So when you move through this internship, it is a 100% remote work location. We have seen, I should caveat that, a few employers who would love for these folks to be on site. That is normally very flexible. So it's really exciting to have this opportunity. Now, what happens here is you achieve your Salesforce certification before you come into this fellowship. So we just have talked about Career Forward, where we provide those wraparound services for you. As you choose a certificate, you move through and achieve that education, and then you go into your internship. This one is slightly different. You come into this internship already possessing the Salesforce certification. So this would be moving through Salesforce Trailhead, which some of you may be aware of already, which is a military specific program of Salesforce Trailhead that everyone, or Salesforce certification, that everyone on this line qualifies for. So you would move through that program at your own pace. It is also something that is self-paced, and you do have the opportunity to go through with other people who are on your journey as well. And you're earning badges along the way as you finish the various modules until you achieve the certificate, and then you actually sit for that exam. Once you have done that, then you can come into this fellowship opportunity. You can even begin applying for this fellowship opportunity as you finish your certification. This one is also incredibly successful. It has a 90% placement rate, and I will share that nearly 100% of these jobs are remote roles. A lot of people who are Salesforce architects or are in database management for Salesforce are working from home. So this is another one of those that might be a great portable opportunity for folks who are looking for that chance to move their job still, or just appreciate the chance to work from home. So that's the Salesforce Fellowship Program. And then you have the skills-based fellowship program. This is a brand new fellowship program for us. And this is Hiring Our Heroes coming together with industry to really talk about how we offer opportunities that don't require a college degree. So this doesn't even require an associate's. This can be, hey, Meredith, I have been working in the motor T pool for 15 years and I love what I do and I'm interested in a skills-based fellowship and I have a high school diploma or a GED. Fantastic. We welcome you. This would be a wonderful opportunity for you. So this is a brand new fellowship. It just kicked off and we are wildly excited about it because we do continue to see an increased need for service members who do not have a college education to have that opportunity to participate in a fellowship program. And so that would be the skills-based track. Again, it's also a paid internship, which is just fantastic for those who are looking for that opportunity. All right, I'm going to go on to our next flyer so that you can see kind of an overview of everything that Hiring Our Heroes has to offer. And again, these programs that I'm about to cover are available for all of you, and some of them include hiring events. So we're going to move into talking about what that looks like from Hiring Our Heroes. So for those of you who don't quite have the background fully of this organization, I know our fellowships tend to get so much interest from the field, but there are a lot of other things that we do too. And that includes hiring events. It includes upskilling and reskilling programs outside of just those fellowships. And it also includes specific networks for military spouses. And so you can see here a little bit of our success in our journey as a provider for military families. And I'll let you kind of look at those because I really want to move to this. This talks about all of the offerings that Hiring Our Heroes brings. You'll see the third one down is the fellows program. So I won't cover that again. I feel like you all have kind of the basics of what the fellows programs entail. So let's talk more about what else is here. So if you've ever had a moment where you wished that someone could connect you with a career or a specific opportunity that you were really looking for, your wish has been granted. Our career connectors are a team of military spouses and veterans that review military connected talent registrant profiles. So you would come to Hiring Our Heroes to our website, you create a profile and a resume through Resume Engine. And then you would be moved on with the ability to talk with a career connector. Or you would come in and you would register for a hiring event. And I can certainly walk you through today how to do that. And you would create your profile and upload your resume, and you could move on to a career connector. And what happens with these folks is it's 11 members of our team who are truly amazing, who look at your resume, provide you with feedback and tips, give you some referral and resource help. Let's say maybe you actually need to kind of work on some sections of your resume. We'll teach you how to do that. We'll give you some resource and referral for folks who will even walk you through how to do that. And then you'll come back to us and we can match you with specific job opportunities. So what happens here is that many of our employers will come to us and say, we have these hot jobs and we are really looking for military connected talent to fill these roles. Can you please provide us with some resumes that might be a good fit for these opportunities? So our career connectors go to work, they're looking at resumes, they have you in the system, and then they would put forward your resume as a candidate for some of those hot jobs. And this happens on a regular basis. In fact, almost daily, we receive a number of hot jobs from our employers. They might be in the finance industry, the healthcare industry, it might be Amazon, AWS, other IT and tech, the list goes on. So this is a really exciting program that we offer. In addition to that, I quickly mentioned registering for a summit or even a hiring expo. When you want to get yourself out there and sit down and talk to employers, we host 50 in-person career events and summits every year. And in addition to that, we host about 50 virtual hiring events and summits every year. So let me talk a little bit about what those are. So today, for example, we are in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the tag from Minnesota is actually going to be speaking this morning. In fact, he's probably on stage right now, which really emphasizes our presence with National Guard and also reserves in all the states that we visit for these events. And we're putting on a hiring expo. And this is in collaboration with the hockey team, the Minnesota Wild. So we will spend the day there with over 50 employers who are hiring in the local area there in Minneapolis, and also have some jobs in other spaces as well, working with veterans and transitioning service members and reserve and National Guard and military spouses. So our entire military connected community, to provide you with opportunities to sit down and talk to an employer about the openings they have. On top of that, our career summits and our expos include content specifically curated for you, so that when you're sitting at one of these summits or expos, you might come in and you might have questions about, gosh, I mean, I don't know how to do a resume, or I'm not sure how to translate my military occupational specialty to what it needs to look like in the civilian world. Or I haven't really thought about how my pay and benefits are going to change. Now, many of you are going to be ahead of the active duty population in that conversation because of the unique lifestyle that you live. We still try to provide all of that transition information, but we also provide things like, how do I work on my LinkedIn presence? How do I start a page? How do I expand my page and connect with people? What should my profile photo look like? Those are all things that get covered during that summit content. Now, if you say, well, Meredith, I don't think I can join you in person, but I could join you virtually, that's fantastic too. So you could register for a virtual career summit or hiring event, and they are usually industry specific, which I think is fantastic for those of you who know what you want to do and where your expertise lies. You might want to focus on healthcare. You might want to focus on transportation and logistics. All you would do is go to hiringourheroes.org, and I'll show you how to do this in just a bit. And you would navigate through our events page and you just register for one of those virtual events. Now you're going to promise me something, even though I can't hear you right now, that you're going to have your resume ready before you go. So you'll create your profile, you'll register for the event, and then you'll work with one of our career connectors to make sure that your resume is spick and span and fabulous. And that way, when you go to that hiring event, you can ensure your own success because you've spent time going through it beforehand. So that's one of my biggest tips for when you want to do these things. Now I'll move on to our last two things. Virtual events, we obviously just talked about. I'll still touch on a couple other things there. But I really want to foot stomp our military spouse program, which is available to all of the military spouses here on the line. And here's how we define military spouse at Hiring Our Heroes. Once a military spouse, always a military spouse. Whether that means that you are a fiance, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a however you identify, or whether you are a reserve spouse, a National Guard spouse, an active duty spouse, a veteran spouse. The list goes on and on and on and on. One day as a military spouse in our world means you qualify for these programs. One day as a military spouse, significant other, you qualify for these programs. And we're really proud of that because we think it's important to have what I like to call a big tent. And that means we provide services to as many people as we possibly can. So we try to use a really broad definition when we look at things like what's a military spouse. So these programs are really exciting, and I'm going to walk through a few of them on our website here in just a moment. We have opportunities for you to re-enter the workforce. We have programs to help you re-enter the workforce. We have programs to help you enter the workforce for the first time, or to help you get promoted, or to help you have a network in the area where you currently reside or might be moving to. So under our military spouse program, there is truly so much. And on top of that, we have military spouse specific hiring events. And I want to share something that I've heard from so many military spouses. We don't necessarily want to go to hiring events with our reserve, National Guard, veteran, transitioning service member, active duty members. We don't want to do that. We often feel like our skill set is different. And we want the opportunity to tell our own story to employers on in a space that is separate from those who are currently serving in some form or fashion or have recently served. And because of that, we have those specific military spouse hiring events. They are both virtual and in person. In fact, we just had a virtual one March 7th, so we'll have another one again soon. And I hope you will take a moment and join us for one of those in a safe space that is curated specifically for you with employers who want to hire you. So I'll just kind of plant that seed because oftentimes we do have spouses who shy away from coming to hiring events. And I want to say this is your opportunity to not do that. Okay, so virtual events we kind of just talked about. I do want to share that these are wildly successful and have several candidates every time we do them. In fact, on average, it's about 800 candidates, which is why I really want to circle back to having your resume ready to looking like the candidate on paper that people want to hire. It is so incredibly important that before you come to a hiring event, you invest in your LinkedIn profile and you invest in that resume so that when you step up to that booth or when you step into that virtual booth, you are the person that they want to make that next interview extension to. So I'll just foot stomp that. I know sometimes we think, well, I'll just go and I'll check out the hiring event. That's fine. Certainly, we welcome you to do that. And I also want to say, never waste an opportunity. And if you spend a moment prepping those materials before you go, then you won't miss that opportunity. So I'm going to navigate, if you'll just give me 1 second, to our Hiring Our Heroes website, and I will walk you through how to do a few of these things, and then we will be done with this portion for today. So let me see, go over to our site. All right, so this is the homepage of the Hiring Our Heroes website. From here, you can navigate to just about anything that you might need to navigate to. So let's say that you are looking for career services as a military spouse. You go to career services and you go to military spouse resources. And you would navigate through here depending on where you are in your career journey. So you might say, well, I'm looking for my next career move. I have to return to the workforce after taking 10 years off, or I'm going to enter the workforce for the first time, or I'd really like to get promoted and I don't know what it's going to take for me to level up. So I have a lot to learn. So you would click here and you can explore our programs. And we have several different opportunities for you. The one I really want to foot stomp and highlight, though, because we've already talked about Career Forward, is Amplify. And Amplify is our intensive career development program. This is a 2-day program, and it is offered virtually or in person with a cohort of roughly 40 military spouses. It varies based on location. Virtual can be a little bit more. I will tell you that we try to keep them a little smaller because then you can foster relationships and friendships with those who are also in your class. And that's fantastic because you're building your network, right? So that's Amplify. It teaches you things like how to level up your LinkedIn profile, how to be more engaging in professional social media. It also teaches you things like personal branding so that if you are in an elevator with someone who's hiring, you can give your elevator pitch and you know how to say what you are and who you are and what you bring to the workforce. So it helps you to put those things together. It also has various tracks so that if you're interested in a GS job or entrepreneurship or pursuing a corporate position, you can get specific content that's curated exactly for the journey that you are heading to next. So Amplify is wonderful. Obviously, it's free. All of these resources are free to you. And it's just a fantastic opportunity to level up your career or just take that next step, whatever it might be for you. The other thing that I will quickly talk about is the Military Spouse Professional Network. And that's because I touched on it just a few minutes ago when I said, maybe you want to create a network in the place where you currently live or where you might be going next. This is your chance to do that. The Military Spouse Professional Network is in actually about 60 military communities now and around the world. And it's an opportunity for you to connect with like-minded spouses who might also be seeking employment or the next promotion or re-entry into the workforce. The list goes on in your local area. So think about things like coffee chats or lunches that are lunch and learns, where we bring in a professional who's going to talk to you about a specific topic. That's what the Military Spouse Professional Network does. And if you say to me, well, Meredith, right now I live in Des Moines, Iowa, and there's no Military Spouse Professional Network. Okay, well, we have a virtual network for that. So we welcome you to check this out and to join the network that makes sense for you, whether it's the virtual network or whether there's actually an on the ground chapter in your area. So the last thing I want to do with our time today, and then I'm excited to chat with you and take any questions you have, is I really want to go through the hiring events. We talked really extensively about fellowships, so you have some great information there. Here's what I want to focus on is how do you register for a hiring event? So these are the pages that you would use to do that. So this is our events calendar, and you could search by region. You can search by a specific date range. Maybe you're really interested in hiring events that are going in May. You can put that in here. And you can search by those that we're having in the month of May. So right now, you can scroll down and you can see today's hiring event. And you can also see Camp Lejeune is coming up next. And then you also see these other things. So what we're doing throughout this process is we're teaching you how to fish, right? So more than just coming to the hiring event and connecting you with employers, we're also helping you learn how to do a virtual hiring event, how to be successful in a hiring event atmosphere. So things like those tips that I was just talking about with your resume, we'll walk through those with you. So before you come to us for a hiring event, spend that time with one of these events or with one of our career connectors. So you can see everything here. You can also see that we have a virtual Amplify coming up. So for any military spouses who are on the line who really can't leave the house for 2 days to go to X, Y, and Z location and take an Amplify, we get it. Join us online, March 20th and 21st. So you can see a lot of things here. If none of these events are looking like they would work for you, you just click more and you can move on to what's coming up next. And let's say that you leave this session today and you say, gosh, Meredith gave me some great information, but I still have a ton of questions. Look for one of these information sessions. And I've paused the screen on one for military spouse fellowships. These are wildly successful. Many, many military spouses hop on the line to learn specifically about how to apply for these fellowship programs, what the process is once you do apply, all of those kinds of things. And we will walk you through that. So this is a great space. This is kind of like your catch-all for anything that you might want to kind of find that's coming up that we are offering. So with that, I will stop sharing and I will welcome any questions or comments.
And there was just one comment in the chat group earlier that Miss Grady came out and said, hey, just in case y'all know, P3 partners with hiring our heroes. So we're all in this thing together, everybody. So if you got any questions, please, this is the time for them.
Yeah, it takes a village. So, and this is an example of that.
Well, I don't have a question, but I do want to thank Meredith for jumping on and giving this presentation, and ask that you all share this, through your network, because it's great opportunities, and, of course, at no cost, but really good information and good tools to have. And just as a plug, when we did our hiring event at the first MSC in Puerto Rico, coming up on a year ago, we had 50 spouses attend the Amplify workshop, And I will tell you that day, I believe 4 spouses walked out of that hiring event with jobs in hand. So
Oh,
it really is successful. It's incredibly beneficial. And so I just want to put that plug in for you.
Oh, that's so great. And Alicia, I
Yeah.
heard that was like a line out the door, like
Yeah.
standing your vote. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Meredith. And
Yeah.
thank you, Mr. Calzar, for letting me jump in.
Oh, you know, you're a part of the family. You always welcome, Alicia.
Well, it was so great to be with you all. And I think if you would like to pass on, of course, any questions that come in after this, please do feel free to forward them. And I hope that this has been helpful.
Yes, this has been very helpful. And the fact that you emphasize the fact that a lot of all these programs are indeed the family members of the guard soldier and the reserve soldier are qualified, especially for these fellowships that provide such great opportunities for our family members. Give them the opportunity for those who are unemployed or underemployed, give them an opportunity to enhance their quality of life and better themselves. So I appreciate you. I
Got it.
appreciate your information. Thanks, Miss Grady, for bringing you to my attention. Again, it's all family here. She said, "Hey, won't you invite Meredith to come out and talk to us?" And I said, "Okay, let's go do this." But
Well,
hey,
thank you.
it has been a pleasure. And again, on behalf of Mr. Mufu Taiwo, the acting director of Army Reserve Family Programs, and Mr. John McCarthy, the senior spouse and senior volunteer for Army Reserve Family Programs, we thank you for your time, your efforts, and especially this information you provided for us today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you all for having me.
So if there are not any further questions at this time, as you all know, I will send the URL out with this information. It'll also have a copy of the documents she looked at earlier, the 2 flyers she reviewed. That'll go out along with the URL, as well as her information in case you need to reach out to her email. I ain't getting nobody no phone number, but I'll give you her email. That way, if in case you do need to reach out to her, you can. And for those who are reviewing it on YouTube, um, you missed a great one. It was a great opportunity to get some great information. And again, Meredith, thank you for your time and your efforts, and we really, really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thank you. So at this time, I'll be stopping the recording and give you all back 24 minutes of your day. Have a great
Thank
one.
you.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
one.
Mr.
Thanks.
Clouser.